Hello, great people. Are you there? We are back again with many gists. Wahala deo, wahala. Serious wahala. Have you had DSS latest exposition? They said there are plans being hatched to set up an interim government in Nigeria that they already had. Let me say they had minutes of the meeting. Yes, they have gotten hints. Meanwhile, should I be surprised about what DSS said? Because I'm already aware the group Voters Must Count International Institute also saying they are seeking an interim government. So what do you think? Oh, okay, the DSS are just seeing it. But these groups have been talking about that during their protests. They are saying that an interim government must be set up. So I'm not surprised that DSS is saying it. Meanwhile, let's look at this story and we'll be right back to analyze it.
Department of State Services, the DSS, says that the plots to set aside the Constitution and install an interim government by what the organization described as misguided political actors is real. The DSS spokesperson today, Peter Afunaya, released a statement where he says the DSS has vowed that the secret police will use all arsenals at its disposal to frustrate such plot. The secret police is also saying that some key players in the plot for an interim government in Nigeria have been identified. In a follow-up statement on earlier today, the DSS had said that they did not quite mention any politician, but they say that some key players have been identified in the plots to cause an interim government in Nigeria. The DSS is also saying that the plot being pursued by these entrenched interests is not only an aberration but a mischievous way to set aside the Constitution and undermine civil rule in Nigeria, warning that such will plunge the country into an avoidable crisis. In a statement by the DSS, they say, quote, the planners in their many meetings have weighed various options, which include, among others, to sponsor endless violent mass protests in major cities to warrant a declaration of state of emergency. Another is to obtain frivolous court injunctions to forestall the inauguration of new executive administrations and legislative houses at the federal and state levels. This particular matter raised by the DSS gets us talking tonight is a major issue that should concern everyone. What are the intentions of these people who are having these clandestine meetings to achieve an interim government? What does this mean? What are the possible implications of these, and what is the state doing to be able to ensure that there is peace in the land? I'll be getting some insights into that matter and get some expert opinions on this matter. But let's get some insight now. I'm being joined by security expert, in fact, a scholar in violent extremism. He's also a senior fellow with the Tony Blair Foundation. He joins us live from London, Mr. Bulama Bukati. Thank you so much, Mr. Bukati, for joining us tonight. Give us a sense of what this means. Does this raise any kind of worry or tension in the land?
Thank you very much, Sean. This is a very, very serious matter. As you alluded on the top of your introduction, what the DSS is saying is essentially that some people are planning to wage a war against Nigeria. This move is undemocratic, it is illegal, it is unconstitutional. Section 1 of our constitution is very clear that no, Nigeria cannot be ruled, neither any part of Nigeria can be ruled other than through constitutional means. And the only means recognized by the Constitution is for people to win elections and to be duly inaugurated by the authorities stipulated by law. And therefore, it is unconstitutional. It is also criminal because what these individuals are planning is potentially what is called treason under our criminal laws, and it is punishable by death. It carries the death penalty, which shows that it is one of the most heinous crimes in Nigeria. Now, of course, the fact that this statement is coming from the DSS gives me hope, but also gives me concern. The concern is that the fact that the statement is coming from the DSS means that this is a very, very serious matter. It is a damn serious matter because we know that the DSS has never been reckless with statements like this. They are always serious, they are professional in what they are doing, and now that they are coming out with this statement, it shows that they do have hard evidence that some individuals are unfortunately planning to do something untoward, which will throw our country into chaos. Now, the positive side of the statement coming from the DSS is that since it came from them, it shows that the DSS and other security agencies are on top of the matter. And we know that the DSS has always been very good in gathering information and sharing it with authorities. And therefore, what we will call on security and law enforcement agents is to take this intel very seriously and to take all steps within the bounds of the law to rattle this illegal, unconstitutional, anti-Nigerian attempt.
They said that their plans include, amongst others, to sponsor endless violent mass protests in major cities. And this, according to them, to cause a declaration of the state of emergency in Nigeria. Another one is a frivolous court injunctions to forestall the inauguration of the new executive administration and legislative houses at the federal and state levels. So the question is, you are a lawyer equally. Can anyone get any injunction from any court in Nigeria to stop the inauguration of the government that is elected, or a president-elect, a governor-elect in Nigeria?
Look, so the DSS is talking about two methods, like you said. One is violent mass protest. Let's be clear that protest, which is peaceful, sensible, and orderly, is constitutional, and every Nigerian has a right to stage that kind of protest, including on Inauguration Day. But it has to be peaceful, it has to be sensible, it has to be orderly. However, where protest becomes violent, then it becomes completely illegal. And where the violence is intended to disrupt an inauguration, then it becomes treason that carries, like I said, the death penalty. Now, regarding courts, the law is very clear. The Electoral Act is very clear that no court can give an injunction to stop an inauguration. But unfortunately, Seun, we have seen judges and courts in Nigeria using indiscriminately their power to issue ex parte orders. One example recently was the order that was granted to the two main opposition parties to inspect INEC's materials. That is ordinarily legal. But because the court gave this injunction ex parte, that is, it had only one party for those of us who may not be lawyers, without hearing from INEC and other stakeholders, it ended up giving an order that stopped INEC from clearing the rivers so that governorship elections could take place. And what happened at the end of it? INEC had to go and apply before the court and explain to the court why the injunction it gave is going to stop our elections. Only then did the court vacate that order and allowed INEC to clear the rivers and reconfigure it for the state elections. Now, even at that, INEC had to postpone the election by 1 week. That is one danger of ex parte application. Seun, another example is the June 12th. During the June 12th, court orders, ex parte court orders contributed tremendously in aborting the June 12th. because there were two conflicting court orders. One court gave an order for the counting of the ballots during June 12 to be stopped. That's in the 1992 elections. And another court gave an order that the counting should continue. And at the end of it, the election was annulled by the military administration. That's another case of ex parte injunction playing a role in rattling our country's democracy. And therefore, what I would urge judicial officers to do is to exercise their powers to order or issue ex parte orders judiciously and sensibly. Let them have the interests of our country in mind as they issue ex parte orders. Anything that will stop inauguration or that will disrupt or destroy our democracy must be resisted.
I've since been joined by the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Alhaji Yabaji Sani. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Shil. Well, to say the least, is an embarrassment, really, because I believe that the DSS, the constitutional, the agency that is in charge of gathering intelligence and then passing intelligence to other agencies that are supposed to take action. And I don't think it serves the purpose of this country for the DSS to come and make these pronouncements in the manner they are making it. What would have made sense to us is that so person is involved, so person has been arrested or is under interrogation or whatever action has been taken. Not to, okay, what do we do as politicians or as citizens of the country? We can't do nothing.
Could it be politicians behind this?
Nobody's above the law.
No, I'm saying, could it be politicians?
Yes, they say key players in the.
So it's likely to be politicians.
But whoever the person is, if they know that the person is doing something that is untoward to democracy, that will scuttle what we are, all this process, I think the sensible thing to do or the lawful thing to do is to take back the person into custody, ask him questions. They could come out and say that, well, so person has been found to be in this, and we have asked questions, has been released or whatever it is. But to make these, pronouncements to further create some kind of tension, some kind of crisis that as if we are not in control of the situation, does not really meet the requirement of what I believe.
Let's assume something here, Alhaji Yabaji Sani.
Yes.
I mean, you are a key opposition voice in this country.
Yes.
You are the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council.
Yes.
If there is an arrest of a key political figure within this period, do you think it could raise more tension?
Nice question.
Rather than putting out the information there, I'm just looking at the options that the DSS may have weighed.
Yes.
If you arrest these persons, it may create more tension in the land.
Yes.
Okay, let's manage the communication and put in information out there to be able to kill that idea. Between that and this one that you said, which one would have caused more harm?
Well, each one has its own advantage and disadvantage. All I'm saying is that you don't just take somebody and then lock the sub-party. I'm not saying locking up anybody, but it may serve, the purpose of deterrent. If you mention that this person, although I had mentioned in the report that the DSS, whether DSS or the reporter was just quoting that Dr. Baba Ahmed, say something that the president-elect should not be sworn in. So, are they talking about Dr. Baba Ahmed? And I don't think the law enforcement officer should shy away from their responsibilities to demonstrate that nobody's above the law. That's the point I'm trying to make. I know that if you start arresting, like you said, opposition politicians, it will send a wrong signal. Maybe to some people they will say maybe it's witch hunting, and then what have you. But
Alhaji Sani, that this is not the first time we are hearing interim government. Yeah. Before the election, there were those talks, those who said that there are plans by some elements in the country that elections should not hold in February. And their plans and ultimate agenda is to cause an interim government and to cause chaos in the land. I mean, this is coming up again.
Yes, it's coming up again because the election itself was not conducted in a manner that most Nigerians expected to be conducted.
Nice one,
so
nice one.
If anything like this is happening, people are calling for this kind of, undemocratic means of government, is because the agency that's supposed to conduct elections did not meet the requirement, the expectation of the people. And they raised the expectation of Nigerians too high, and they delivered so little. So this is why, and then nobody, like the DSS or the police or somebody, has come out on the side of the people to say that what these people did is not right. Maybe it hasn't gotten to that, but the point, I'm not in any way supporting the interim, government or whatever undemocratic, system you want to bring to play. But there is responsibility that everybody in the system, supposed to be accountable for. And in our own case as Democrats, we don't want anything that will scuttle what we are doing. Let the process take its course. Yeah. It's now before the courts. Let the courts come out and do the needful. That is, educate, and we are saying the courts should not rely on technicalities, because technicalities does not make any sense to an average Nigerian. What it tells Nigerians is that you are trying to hide something, or you are trying to compromise, or favor somebody, in a way that is not in tune with the expectation of the people.
Let's be very clear, Sheon. An interim government is illegal, is unconstitutional, and has no basis in our laws whatsoever. Like I said on the top, our constitution is very clear under section 1. And I was shaking my head when Mr. Sani was making a statement that appears to justify this call for interim government, saying INEC did not do what it should do, that they raise people's expectations. I agree with him completely that there were issues in the last elections, and INEC should learn lessons from that, and that our courts should do the right thing by listening to all parties and giving a fair judgment. But let's be clear, let's not say anything that will justify anything that is released in that DSS statement. We cannot, as Democrats, mince words in condemning any use of unconstitutional ways to institute any kind of government, whether interim or whatever. And therefore, I think Alhaji Sani should revisit his justification. It's completely untenable. This cannot hold water, and it is dangerous.
What Mr. Booker was saying, he should understand the fact that, I am the chairman of all the national chairman of political parties. And I must, state the truth, the fact as it is, because some of my members are affected by the way that INEC conducted these elections. Did not go down well with some of the parties, but for good reasons. So I cannot claim that I'm not aware of that. So, and you asked the question, why are people now asking for alternatives? And I said, this democracy is so precious to us. We cannot sacrifice it under any circumstance at all. That I'm not in any way supporting people calling for interim government or whatever other form.
That is where we're going to stop for now. And let's look at what they said. There is tension in the country. Finally, DSS has a confirmed report, though they are yet to mention the people. They are saying some people are planning to, set up an interim government. And before we go deep into this discussion, why would some people be planning to set up an interim government? Anyway, we'll come to that. So they said some people are trying to undermine civil rule by, it will start like a protest and leading to a revolution kind of a thing. And, to disrupt the inauguration. And they said it calls for concern. And Yabaji Sani, the second guest, he was more realistic, and he's looking at the situation on ground. I think the other guy is in UK, but we are talking about people who have seen the realities on ground. Now let's look at what they said. They said those who are trying to set up an interim government has several means of doing so, using court litigation and by protests leading to violence, that they're trying to disrupt the day of the handover, inauguration, a new government starts. That's May 29. So, and according to Bulama Bukati, he said it's like waging a war against the country is treasonable offense punishable by that's what he said, and to him it's criminal. He said it's criminal, and I see hypocrisy in him. And my problem with Nigeria is Nigeria likes to treat the symptom and the disease. Nigeria does not like to stop the disease from coming. You don't wait for sickness to come, then, having the hope of treating the ailment or the sickness. I'm so displeased with this first guest because he refused to be realistic and truthful. First of all, nobody is talking about those who use violence to win election. Nobody's talking about those people here. We didn't hear that DSS arrested anybody. In fact, on some occasion in Lagos, the policemen, the security operatives were there while these guys were doing their thing, threatening people not to. If you're not voting for APC, get out of here. Or vote and they will teach you a lesson. We've not had that any arrests were made. Or maybe later. A particular political party thugs working for them, threatening people. And we've not had a case whereby INEC chairman or INEC officials were being, queried, questioned. Because I think if I'm asked to give suggestion, I think there should be a way to check INEC, people that are INEC, maybe returning officers and INEC staffs. There should be a severe punishment on their heads. Because if something has gone wrong, why do you go on to announce the results? There were a lot of concerns raised. There were a lot of complaints. Don't announce this result, so much irregularities. INEC chairman went on to announce the result. I think the number one person to be arrested in this country is the INEC chairman. Because whatever arises from this election, that's aftermath of the election, he caused it. And to say INEC colluded with some political party, it is clear. There are proofs. For the sake that you even went further to announce the result, despite complaints, you are colluding with a particular political party. This happened even at the gubernatorial election. And it has always been the case of go to court and sort yourself out. There should be a way INEC is being checked and INEC staff gets severe punishment, because it's criminal to rob Nigeria, to disenfranchise Nigerians. It's criminal. Democracy has been subverted by that act. People voted, and the voting is by law. Then you manipulate the result. We've seen several uploads. So many inconsistencies. And INEC went further because there is nobody to check INEC. Now, INEC's action has resulted to protest. Some could be violent, who knows? And some people are like, we will do this and we will do that. And now the security bodies are out. We are sensing some people are planning to set up interim government. Now you remember your work. Who is MC Oluomo? Despite all the evidences, including the speech he made, nobody has gone to query him. And you are telling us some people are about to do something that is unconstitutional. And let me tell you, the reason why some people are even thinking in that direction of an interim government is because we know what happens in Nigeria. It is hard to fight or wrestle with the executive through the judiciary. because the executive manipulates the judiciary. That has been the case since 1999. The moment Tinubu gets there, he becomes the commander-in-chief, or whoever gets there, he becomes the commander-in-chief. You are not contending with the state, not just that particular presidential candidate. And every weapon available, every instrument available, the state will use it to rescue you, including manipulating and controlling the judiciary. So that is why some people want an interim government first, which will be neutral. Then, while the tribunal settles, the winner of the election through the tribunal will grab the seat, climb. But the case whereby somebody has been sworn in, there is so much weight now he has gathered against those who are competing with him in the courts. That is why some people are asking for interim government. I think even the DSS people should reason. Whoever, the security operatives in Nigeria should reason. Think about what I just said. Is it proper for INEC to announce whatever they feels like, not minding the consequences? Because we are, it has always been a case, go to the court and settle. Do you know what it takes? When you go to the court, it's about technicalities now, not about the true sense of the matter as it is. Where the legal teams, the manipulations and the rest, and somehow to one's favor, and in most cases, in many cases, the actual winner might not get there. So it's a country where the judiciary is independent, as it's supposed to be. What if the person that INEC designate president-elect is not the winner, but he has grabbed power? So while you consider that interim government is not part of the constitution, also consider other things. INEC cannot just come and announce anything and you ask people to agree. And you ask them to go to court where they might not find justice. So I'm not really comfortable with the Bulama Bukati guy. Yes, I'm not comfortable. He's more on protecting INEC's results and protecting the constitution. Yes, it's good to protect the constitution, but you also have to consider the other angle. Because what we are seeing now in most cases is selection. People come out to vote based on their mind, what their mind tells them, based on who they feel will work. INEC will appoint whoever they like. Some of the times INEC will allow things to go normal, and on some occasions they appoint whoever they like. That is why people are thinking about setting up an interim government, because their government is expected to be neutral. The moment one of the contestants is given access, as in having the power C, he could use the whole weight against his opponents. The worst election so far in this country, made by irregularities of all sorts. And rather than look into it properly and sort out the problems and settle it, you announce somebody, and the person, you want the person to take over, then we now go to the courts. That is improper. While we agree to a constitutional means, I think other things should be considered as well. I support the other Yabaji Sani. You have to start from the elementary part of the matter, which is the voting, then to the announcement of the results, then to, before it now gets to the inauguration of the winner. INEC should not be quick to announce any results. There's a possibility that one of the contestants can just pay INEC, I give you so amount of money, announce me as the winner, and let them get to court. We know how to sort it out. It's possible. And now there is this case of arresting those who are behind this move to arrange for an interim government. And the president said, there are certain people you arrest. The tension, the politics is already heated. And these people are trying to, a way of expressing what they feel. Now, based on the results from their various situation rooms, some of these parties are saying they won the election. And that what INEC was uploading is wrong. And INEC did not give them access to the server, the right things, the right materials. INEC tried to wipe off evidence. And you expect them to just fold their hands and say, okay, let him get there. He becomes president. Somebody that they are not sure he won becomes president for the while. I am not opposing the Constitution, but I believe so that the various leaders of our security outfits are reasonable. I am not praying for a revolution, but I believe the right things can be done. There should be provision for a way nobody should climb to power until the court is done. Because anyone who climbs will wield the executive power against his opponents. Now, what do you think, viewers? Add your comment on the comment section. And if you are to rate INEC in this election from 0 to 10, just like the other man was asked to rate INEC, well, I can't even give INEC 0. I'll give INEC minus 100. INEC did not do the right thing. Okay, they maintain that setting up an interim government is unconstitutional. Yes, I believe it's not in the Constitution, but I think the provision should be made in the Constitution for contestants to wait after tribunals judgment for the winner to climb. There could be an extension of the inauguration day could be extended. Then the seat should be held by somebody, just like the interim government system. This is just a personal suggestion. What do you think, viewers? Add your comment on the comment section. Please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. Bye-bye for now.